to the OhioRAAM Show.
Well, hello, it's Lee Kreider here with the OhioRAAM Show number 358, a show about cycling and ultracycling and sometimes other stuff.
And I'm Jim Lawyer, and the OhioRAAM Show is brought to you by our wonderful Ohio time stations, 41 Oxford, 42 Blanchester, and 43 Chillicothe.
Hey, Jim, how much snow did you get?
We got almost a foot. Too much for me.
Yeah, I think we got about 8 inches here. I live a mile north or south of the Interstate 70, and Jim lives, It's about 3 miles north of it. I've never been understand, Jim, on the weather forecast, they always say north of Route 70, it's going to be 5 inches, and south. How does the weather know to stop right there? Have you got that figured out?
No, I'm befuddled also.
It's one of the crazy things. Hey,
it is.
Goodness sakes. Let's get on with some news, Jim.
Okay, in the news we have Jim Rees has a new book out called Vicious Cycle. And you can find it on his El Guru website. And as usual, we'll have all that posted in the show notes. But it's a thought-provoking examination of our patterns of behavior and how these reoccurring habits can shape our entire lives. Next up in the news, we have the Florida 500. It's February 24th and 28th. It's in Florida. It starts in Jacksonville and finishes in Key West. And two of our past people on it, Team Joe Barr and Giovanni Prosperi, will be riding their Spiegel bikes in this, and we wish them all luck, as well as everybody else competing. Rick Z is starting a new website called the $10 Bicycle Club, and it should be a really neat thing. It's made by cyclists for cyclists, and it'll be better than Facebook and all the other ones, I believe. So give it a look. And last in our news is we've got the AEST online seminars coming up. The 6th and 7th of March has been sold out. There's still places for the 13th and 14th of March. So if you want to join this great time, go ahead and sign up on the RAM website. And I think that's about it for the news this week, Lee.
Yeah, and I've been to several of those seminars in the past. They're really good. And I've enjoyed them a great deal. In fact, I've gone often enough, I could almost give Fred's spiel for him. But still, you hear something a little different every time you go. Hey,
yeah,
and
I went ahead and signed up for us, so I'm going to go and enjoy it online.
Okay, very good. I used to go over to Dublin, Ohio. They always had them. Fred would pick out the worst weekend weather-wise in the world to go over there. And so, hey, Spiegel Bikes is here. Nice to see you, Spiegel Bikes. Hey, listen, I guess on the Florida 500, Giovanni and Joe is going to be riding Spiegel Bikes. But you know, Spiegel Bikes wouldn't be much good for traveling with a 10-gallon milk can down a rocky, dusty, muddy road to take your milk to market. So we've been talking with the people at World Bicycle Relief. We think we're going to do some support of them. We don't want to say too much about it because we haven't got anything worked out yet. But on the show notes, you'll find on OhioRAAMShow.com website. And while I'm mentioning that, Jim will find that layout to put up there and with a website on it. We have a link there to the World Bicycle Relief. There it is, OhioRAAMShow.com, and you'll see show notes. And there's a link there to World Bicycle. Go there, find out about them. Some great stories. We think this is a good match for our show for a charity that we have been aware of for some time, and we'd like to support that.
Definitely.
Next week's show, Jim, we're going to have Team RAM 21 race on. It's an 8-person team, and they are going to be supporting Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Very important cause. So we're going to be anxious to have them on, and they'll be on next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, if you go when we post it on Facebook and YouTube a couple of days ahead of time, the time will be adjusted for your area. Thanks, Greg, for being here with us. He is the voice of the OhioRAAM Show. You hear him welcome us and say goodbye. The first thing you hear and the last thing you hear. And we one of these days we're going to get you on here, Greg.
Definitely, we will do that.
Hey, with that, let's go. We're going to travel over to where it's not snowing.
There you go.
In Queensland, Australia, with Al Jefferson. Al, how are you tonight?
Hey, g'day Lily, g'day Jim. I'm good, very well. Actually, it's morning over here.
That's awesome.
Well, it's yesterday here, Al.
Time travel.
So, anyhow, hey, what's the temperature like there, and what's it usually like in Queensland?
Well, we live in the tropical north, so it's actually not too bad today. It's actually about 82, 83 degrees. It's very humid. It's about 85% humidity, which makes it a little hot and sticky. But it's only for a small part of the year. It's not too bad. We definitely don't have snow on our back door.
Well, that's nice to hear that you got nice weather there.
That's good.
Where are you at right now? Are you at your office?
Would you believe I'm actually working on a Sunday? I'm at my place of work, and I work for these guys, Queensland Government Air Rescue. We're a helicopter retrieval service. A lot of our work is bringing patients in from outlying hospitals in the region, and then occasionally we get to go and do some cool stuff like doing some search and rescues and other bits and pieces, which is good. So yeah, I'm very lucky.
Thank you for your service.
Very lucky.
Thank you for your service. Awesome.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I had my wife transported by helicopter once, and it was wonderful to have that available.
Yes, the one good thing is generally people are always pleased to see us.
Definitely.
Sad you have to call you, but glad that when you get there.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a shame that we are needed, but yeah, we are well received when we get there.
Awesome. Al, what got you into cycling and ultracycling?
So I guess my background is I did a lot of Ironman triathlons. You know, I started in the early 2000s, a few years ago, and then I came over and when I got involved in the 2015 RAM, I was fortunate enough to get on a crew and work for Team Shiv Australia when we did a 4-person team, and literally I got hooked from day one. It's something it's my crew chief and I, we talk about it often, is we would love to take everybody to RAM and just experience RAM for what it is. It brings out the best in people. Occasionally brings out the worst, but usually it brings out the best in people, and just seeing, mind-boggling, just mind-boggling. So that was how I got involved, and I've since then done a number of, I teamed it in Team of 4 in 2017. We came over in 2018, my crew chief and I, just to get a bit more of an idea of what's involved. And then I obviously had a crack in 2019 and got as far as Cortez. So it's in your, once it's in your blood, can't get rid of it.
Oh, I know. I went to a time station to watch, and I've been going ever since. 2008.
It's a disease for which there's no cure, Al.
There you go.
Absolutely, and that's a good thing. Yeah,
Definitely. And we can't wait to see you in 2022, by the way. I think that's
Oh, look.
going to do it in.
I have been. It's just been a roller coaster these last. Not just for me. It's been for everybody around the world,
Yes.
and for those wanting to do RAM, it's particularly. And I've been really, I guess, we made that call last year when, or Rickon made that call to say we're going to postpone RAM until this year, and then this year is it's just too difficult for us to get there, and I guess expose everybody to I guess more risk. And also, we don't want to go over there. The US has got enough people in their health system. We don't need to add extra people to it and make it work a lot harder than what it needs to.
Probably a smart decision, yes.
Yeah, there's so many things that need to be happening right now, or even before right now, for those of you coming from overseas. We can understand that, and understand why some people are making those choices.
Yeah, I think all of the overseas competitors have had to make that. I guess or I'm in the process of making a choice, and I was struggling back in late January to get on the bike because I'm going. We hadn't made that call. I'm going. I don't think we're going to RAM, so I don't need to train. I don't need to be on the bike, and it was quietly doing my head in. But anyway. That's okay.
Gotcha. Well, have you still been training like you were talking, or are you?
Yeah. So I guess a very, very good friend of mine said to me, this is sort of back in mid-January, that I needed a plan B in case we don't go. So we found a plan B, and we're in the process of getting that, I guess, bringing that to fruition, so to speak. We're looking at riding from Perth to Sydney. Perth to Sydney, it's 3,950 kilometers. It's got about 25% of the elevation of RAM. So it's still up there a little bit. And we're going to be looking at doing that in August. So we're in the process. And again, we're in the process of making an announcement and getting all that right. But it'll be exactly the same as RAM. I have a support crew, and it'd be a good training ground.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. So,
have you got? I know that you've got a Grand Fondo coming up, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So while I guess late last year we were looking at everybody with COVID and nobody's doing any racing or any riding, we come up with this idea of the Grand Fondo. It's either 100 miles or 100 Ks out at a place called Ravenswood. I actually went and rode the course last week. It's undulating, to say the least.
Yeah, I saw the elevation profile.
Yeah, you
very
see
nice.
the elevation, and it's deceptive. It's false flats everywhere. But look, there's a couple of little trickier climbs close to the dam, and if you're doing the 100 miler, you will encounter those. But for the guys doing the 100K, it's a pretty nice ride, and it's amazing country out there. So yeah,
Excellent.
that's on the 20th of March.
Yes. And if anybody wants to find that out, it'll be in the show notes to go to
Al's
website.
Absolutely. We're aiming to get about 150 people there. We're sitting at about 85 at the moment. So come on, all you people in Townsville. I know people register late and things like that. So we'll get there. We'll get there.
If we could get there, we'd be there.
Hey, you won't let us in, and we won't let you in.
I know, yeah. Rock in a hard place. Bloody hell. Oh.
There you go. Just fly the helicopter here and pick us up.
I'll come and pick you up from Brisbane. Cool.
There you
But
go.
I'll tell you what, Al, I've had both of my vaccines, both shots. So I'm ready to go. Poor Jim up there, he can't take them,
I
so
can't take it, so.
that's the sad thing.
Mhm.
Oh, bugger.
Definitely. Do you have any other major plans coming up besides the two you mentioned?
No, pretty much just the two. That was sort of, I guess, that with the training involved in it, that's sort of going to keep me pretty busy until the end of August, and then maybe I'm contemplating looking at going back and doing an Ironman at the end of November. So
Nice. You'll have to keep us informed, and we'll watch.
I
that.
will, absolutely. You'll be able to check on my training, and that means I've got to swim. Bloody hell!
And run, but you seem like you're a good runner too.
The running I don't mind. It's the swimming I'm going, oh God. Anyway.
There you go. That's why I've only done duathlons. I think.
I can't tell you how many people I've interviewed on this show that started with doing a triathlon or something like that, like the biking, and that was that. You know.
Yeah. And and it's interesting. I go back to 2015, and I tell the story a little bit. It was the middle of the night somewhere. We were in the latter part of the race, and we were just following our riders, and we just come across this RV, middle of nowhere, and it was sort of, I think, the first solo rider that we'd sort of encountered, and like his crew were on top of the RV. It was actually a Kiwi fellow, believe it or not. His crew were on top of the RV doing this haka and dance and things like this, and I'm going, man, that has just got to be so cool. I've got to have a crack at that. So, and I guess that's probably where the solo seed sort of started. And watching, I'm going, what drives them to just keep going?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm finding this out.
Hey, before we went on the air, Al warned us that if the bell goes off, he has to leave, because I believe right behind those doors, through those doors behind you, sits your helicopter, right?
They are indeed, yes. There's two of them, two AW139s, courtesy of the Queensland State Government. It's our company car.
There
Your
you
company-
go.
So,
Flying in style.
It's a $10 million plus company car.
And you
Very
got
good.
what, two of them?
Pardon?
You have two?
So we've got one which is online, and the other is a serviceable spare. So if the other one breaks down, it's always an aircraft available for coverage.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
I forgot to check before we went on air, Al, but I think you have a charity interest as well, don't you?
We do. I do. I'm raising money for a charity called Beyondblue, and they involved in depression, and they're doing a lot of good work into PTSD, particularly with emergency service workers, which I'm one. We get to see a lot of things that the general public don't and shouldn't see, and it's just how individuals deal with that, and coming up with strategies and such forth to help people deal with those encounters as they go through their work. So they do an awesome job. Beyondblue.
That is awesome. Yeah, you guys deserve way more credit than you're given.
Yeah, we are. I consider myself very lucky to be doing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
You hear that scratching? That's my dog over here making his bed on the sofa. He's just out of camera range a little bit there. You can't see him. That's good. That's Riley.
That's Riley.
Hey, listen, it's so good to have you here, Alan.
Yes.
And we wish you well. We hope that you have a successful tour. How many hours are you on at a row there with that service?
So we work a roster, 4 days on, 4 days off, 2 day shifts, and then 2 nights. So our day shifts are 10 hours. So from 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night, and then our nights are from 6 o'clock at night through to 8 o'clock the next morning. And at night, if we're not flying, we cook ourselves dinner, watch a bit of TV, and then go to bed and be ready to go when the bell goes. So
Awesome.
there are some nights when we get to sleep all night, and there are other nights we get very little, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take from the time the bell rings to the time you actually lift off?
So for us, in the day, we've got 15 minutes, and at night we have 30. The reason at night we have 30 is if the bell goes at like 2 o'clock in the morning and we're in a deep sleep, there's a thing called sleep inertia, which you have to overcome to get your body into the, awake and alive before we actually start tow this thing out the door and punt off into the night. So so we've got 30 minutes at night, but generally, we are quicker than that. So
I think that's what I had this morning, Jim, was sleep inertia. I didn't have a name for it till now.
There you go. Now you know.
Now I know what it is.
You're never too old to learn, Lee. That's good to see.
It's what they say. Hey, Al, it has been so good to have you on here. I've been we've been hoping for that for a little bit, but sometimes we don't get things done as quickly as we'd like to. We're glad to have you with us. Is there any more comments we haven't had here? I think we've got everything.
We'll put the Spiegel bikes back up.
Spiegel bikes back up.
They're looking.
Thank you very much, Spiegel Bikes. Look, I'll just keep sending you updates and such forth and where we're going and how we're going. And once we get a little bit more, info and plans for we're calling it the Coast to Coast. And it's actually the same. We're going to follow the same route that Christoph Strasser rode in 17. So it's it's a recognized route. So
thank you so much for being with us, Al. We appreciate it. And maybe you've been to Australia, haven't you? I don't expect that's probably not something I'm likely to have happen now, but it sounds like a great place. We got so many friends of the show there in Australia, and
it's a very nice place. It is.
And so many people from Australia on the show. They're always so kind. Thank you so much, Al.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Jim. And we'll talk before maybe the Coast to Coast.
Yeah,
definitely.
And don't go away when we go off the air. We'll chat a moment, okay?
Done deal.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Jim, again. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is Gregory Zuber, thanking you for watching and sharing.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.